and it can be implemented
Mm-hmm.
by throughout the world. So this is, you can say, organization only for payment kind of.
Okay.
Okay, so ISO also organization formed by PMPG group only to creation of these messages. Okay, format of messages. All right. So why we introducing ISO 222? There are some benefits of this, and that's pros and cons we are going to discuss now. Okay, so as we discussed last week as well, sorry, yesterday as well, like SEPA have, we have Fedwire, we have BACS and CHAPS, own formats are there. So transferring a payment using this own format may be challenges for other countries. Okay, so navigation of their rules, their mapping of fields. So for that, we have to come up with global standard that should be accepted by all the payment systems and throughout the world. So that's why one of the reason why it is implemented. The first one I'm checking here, global standard. So ISO 222 is now a global standard. It is accepted by all the banks in the world. So whenever these messages are transferring, okay, so we don't have a, you can say, a challenges of mapping or challenges of identification and studying of each and every country's mapping system or messaging system. That's the first one. Facilitate seamless financial communication across the different domain and countries. Okay, that's the first advantage of using ISO 222 as a standard. Second one is a structured data. If you see the messages, I will show you in some time. The message is such a structured way. I mean to say, there is a city name in front of city only, pin code in front of pin code, big in front of big. So like this, the approach is such a made in a holistic way that so normal person can also understand what is mentioned in the ISO 222 message. So meaning of this structural data is made is properly reduces the manual intervention here properly. That's one of the advantage of using ISO 222. Structural data. Data is neatly, cleanly structured in each and every tab line, or you can say a horizontal columns, so that can be easily identified. Other ways, if you see the empty messages, ISO, even the earlier messages of Fedwire, they are too much complicated by the numbers. Nobody is able to identify the structure of the ISO message. But here, the structure is such a nicely crafted. Okay, I have one if I can show you, can show you. Yeah, this is a format of ISO 222 messages of PAX 8 message, for example, this one. So if you see here, it's clearly mentioned in that, okay, this message is come from this big, okay, this big, the message has been sent from this country, this big MIMB somewhat, and it is received by this big ing something like that. So it's neat and clean. You can understand from clear itself that what is the significance of this message. In header itself it's mentioned it is coming from this. Then second part is that what is the creation date of this, create date, like we have seen in MT103 empty or empty messages series, it is 32 a, it's hard, it's difficult to understand. So structure is mentioned in header itself. Then identification of this message, how identify. Then what is the format of the message, message definition identifier, PAX 8 message. Okay, if you go more below on this part, then what is interbank settlement amount, clearly mention the word itself, interbank, so anybody can understand the currency is wrong, this the amount is this one. Then the unique transaction reference number, instruction ID. So if you see the wording is such a properly mentioned, so you can understand by anyone new person as well what is going on here. Then INST agent means instructing agent, instructed agent. Okay, then intermediary agent. So these wordings are very much neat and clean, and it is in XML format, and it's opening bracket, closing bracket, and opening tags here, closing. For example, here it's opening here debtor means payment sender. Okay, its details are here. I mean to say till here only its details are here. It's a see, it's a closing one, and here are the opening one. Okay, so from here till here you can clearly see this the information about debtor, and inside that also if you see properly is mentioned postal address, street name, town name, country, postal address. Okay, so like this is properly mentioned in your ISO 222 messaging system. That's why we are implementing. That's one of the reason also why we're implementing, because it is having a structural data. So next one is improve visibility. So due to this structural data, right, in financial system, the cash flows and the position, I mean to say, we can easily identify by other bank system, the clearing system. Okay, so it is improve visibility. So everyone is widely using this one. Enhance insight into the cash flows and position for better financial management. So yesterday we have discussed about netting, right? Netting and clearing system. For netting and you can say real-time gross settlement, we required a financial message should be on the same platform. So that platform also it is getting by ISO 222. That is also one of the advantage of improved visibility. Then next one is better services. Allow banks to offer improved value-added services through the better transaction understanding. So these are just um, more can say more usefulness of using this one. Then effective compliance. We are using the more secured way now. The message cannot be tampered easily. Okay, so it's a effective compliance means compliance system. Okay, what was happening earlier? For example, if the road name, if the road name XYZ person who is involved in organization terrorism or something like that, so that name if it is found anywhere in the message, even that person road name person name is that, but if it found anywhere in the message was getting blocked. Okay, and it is handled manually by using the manpower or by using the or bank officers, operation officers. So one or two messages okay, but a millions of messages are handling by manpower, right? So it will be more manpower, more operational team, more delay in the payment. So this can be easily convinced in ISO message because you have each separate line has different naming convention. So if though the road name is the person who is actually involved in that, the payment will not stop here. Only it is in a name. If it is there, then only it will stop. For the repair case, it will fall into the repair and it will be manually handled. So this kind of communication way is more effective in compliance. So compliance means is anti-money laundering. Compliance means is a terrorism act. Compliance means stopping the payment. This kind of is more effective in ISO 222 standard. So now this is we discuss on the left hand part of pros. What are the advantage of this one? Now if you come to the right part of this, what are the cons? Means maybe the disadvantage, but these are overcome now. The first one is implementation cost. Now if you remember, if you just see that to understand all this going on, just a basic example, you have to understand from me, right? You come to me for guidance. I'm paying some, I'm asking some fees for that, you are paying for this. So like this, so bank also to implement to all these things, they require huge cost, huge training to employees. Then the implementation cost means that we have to buy the new Swift licenses. Then infrastructure we have to change in back end, front end. If they have some hardware and software has to be changed, that also have to be there. Okay, so like this there is a implementation cost initially for, so this is one of the cost, it is a high cost. Then I said training needs, right? To understand these new messages and structure, every employee has to go by training inside there, maybe the Swift training or the external training or internal trainings. This training has to be given to the employees or the resources for this one. Third one is the system integration, the complex integration, because you are going to integrate with your current clearing system or current Swift mechanism or current settlement system. So that is system integration is required. Is very tedious job for doing. Last 22nd of November it went live by using this integration only, and there is no failure till now visible here. So that's also one of the part of cons here. Okay, so this slide we had only discussed what is the advantage and disadvantage of ISO 222. If you
So
go to
these are the challenges that at a time of migration it faced, right?
the challenges of migrations are so much differ that I have separate presentation for this one. This at very high level. I mean to say this is not for now. This is already knows when it going to be, when 2021 it is about to start migration 21 or 22. From that time we all know that what are the advantage, disadvantage. But the real challenge of ISO 20022 migration that Swift is already published, I will walk you through that one as well. Okay, the big and the combination of addresses is failing, or that they have only highlighted these things. So that's a different one. Okay, so that is more in
Okay.
detail. So that disadvantage is not covered here. These are the pre-assumed advantages